I'm
What
Alex
up?
Haynes.
What up, Alex Haynes? I'm Tiffanie.
I don't hear you.
Oh, every time.
But you hear me, so I'm gonna give it to you. Why don't you do the introduction?
Oh, what's up? That's Alex Haynes. I'm Tiff Lanelle, and you are watching Unpacking Culture. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. If you have not seen any of our episodes before, welcome. You can go to our Unpacking Culture site on Facebook and check out any of our previous videos. We talk about a little bit of everything: politics, sports, marijuana legalization, wine, scriptures, church, Black people, minorities, all the things. So
Lots of things, and
lots
you
of
can hear
things.
me, and I'm
And
here.
I do. And
See,
well,
the technical difficulties that usually take about 10 minutes, solved in 30 seconds.
Hale,
Bless them.
blessings.
Cheers to you.
Cheers to you. He
Mm,
is drinking on a little scissor. We'll call that. It looks good, actually.
it's amazing.
Okay, okay.
It is amazing. So it hasn't been as long since we've been with y'all. As usual, like it. Well, you guys know. You know what's up. Welcome back. There's tons of things that we're gonna cover tonight. I would like to start with this because it's bipartisan. When I say bipartisan, us, this ain't usually us. You know what I'm saying on that? It's not usually us. Um, so we should all celebrate because there were March 2020 was a hard month for us all. You know it, I know it.
Yes.
I'm ending my sixth week.
There we
I
go.
put the th after week.
That was correct.
I've been in I've been in here for 6 weeks.
Listen.
A lot of the country I know 5 weeks. You guys are coming up on 4 weeks, whatever. Um, but March 2020 was the first time since 2002 that there has not been a school shooting.
That's 18
That's
years.
that's probably because all of the schools were closed, but that's about right. If it's that's 18 years, Columbine was definitely the year 2000.
Why does
So
it take all of the schools being closed to not have a school shooting? So here's the thing. I was driving today, and yes, I went out the house. My groomer was taking one dog at a time. And out of the three of us in my house, somebody needs to look groomed in here. So I took my dogs to get groomed. And as I was driving in Atlanta, the city that always has traffic, and there was no traffic despite the time, I really began to think about some of the issues that our country could be working on while we are in this quarantine situation. Take my state, for example.
I'd
Mass
love to hear
transit.
this list because I don't really know that that's going to happen. But
Oh, it most definitely is not. But I do have a wish list.
okay,
Mass transit in the state of Georgia, or at least Metro Atlanta and right outside of Metro Atlanta. We could take a gander at that. I don't know. Education. This is a great opportunity to, I don't know, fix some of the disparities and inequities in education across the country.
not going to happen.
You and I talked about this today about how where we grew up, we were fortunate enough to take a law class while we were in, what was that, high school? That is not happening all over the place, let alone the quality of books, access to technology, all the different things. Um, let's see.
Well, we paid a price for that access.
Did most definitely.
And it was not despite what people think, despite what it looks like on the outside, it was not a pleasant um, experience.
No, no, it was not. Um, no, we still talk about that with our parents. Um, but there's just a couple of things that I just feel like, and I said this on your podcast, Unmuted Nation last week. A lot of these churches, and I know we have a Black church situation on our list to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
A lot of the churches that, the pastors are trying to figure out access to technology, or they're trying to, XYZ, whatever. And my challenge last week to not just pastors, ministers, lay people, parishioners, people just attending church every Sunday, you not on the member roll yet or whatever, is take this opportunity to have a deeper relationship than just going to church every Sunday, Bible study every Tuesday. I don't know, actually read the word, get some context, learn about God for yourself, and figure out who.
Question for you though, because a lot of people have been offended with rhetoric in this vein. I've had the same type of rhetoric. I agree. I don't think that, a lot of people think of church, they think of the building, they think of nostalgia, they think of tradition, they think of how they grew up. There's a problem there because they never learned that they actually are the church.
Right.
When the Bible talks about, and we're not doing that tonight, but when the Bible talks about the church being the bride of Christ, it was never talking about a bunch of buildings, because then there were no buildings.
Right.
So since the church is the bride of Christ, be a bride, stay home, and fall back in love with him.
Or her, depending on your beliefs. But that's a whole other Sunday service that we won't get into.
I'm not doing that today.
We won't get into that today. So anyway, I just wanted to quickly go over my wish list of things that I wish we as a country could work on. Instead, as had understudies.
This is interesting because I don't have a list at all. I don't even care.
You don't have anything on your wish list that you just, I wish.
I don't have like a major investment of thought or purpose for this place. I just don't.
Okay.
But I'm curious. Go ahead.
I mean, that's it for my wish list. It really is. Whatever. But that brings me to one of our major topics of tonight. As had understudy that came out with his 3-phased plan of how to reopen the economy and country.
We actually should have it so I could show you the holes, but
it came out not long before our prep meeting, so do we even want to post that on Unpacking Culture's site?
Sure.
We'll post it. We'll let y'all poke holes, give you comments and all of that. Here's the thing. The 3-phase plan was announced after multiple governors in multiple states have been coming out with collaborations with partnering states and neighboring states, including the Midwest, that came out with a collaboration plan today. The collaboration plan today was, I think, Ohio, Indiana, Michigan. I don't remember the other states. But anyway, the governor said basically they would collaborate and work together to figure out the best way to open their states back up. With this 3-phase plan, 45 said that he's basically going to leave it to the governors, and it can be from state to state, county to county, city to city, as to how you implement the phases. Now, there are quite a few gaps and holes in this situation.
Well, what should be said first is that these are, despite the extremes that he's been in all week. Monday he was a tyrant. Tuesday he said he was never that. He never said any of that. Wednesday, I'm gonna have a plan tomorrow. We're at tomorrow. He had a plan. The plan is not a mandate. It's suggestions for how the governors should open their country back up.
And it doesn't address each situation. It also doesn't have, everyone's looking for the timeline. There's a bunch of articles and studies of when will people be comfortable coming back to certain things and activities and all of that. Y'all still don't seem to understand. We have no vaccine. No vaccine will be available until next year. Now, are there steps that we can do to try and plateau the cases and deaths? Absolutely. Are there certain things and preventative measures that we can take? Absolutely. Here is something the government is not telling you or is trying not to tell you, but medical professionals are. They don't know what they're doing. Everyone is just practicing and playing the guessing game still. Because at the end of the day, this is a disease and illness and virus that can still mutate. They still don't know everything about it. It's spreading now to animals, and they can't figure that out at all. It's airborne one week, not airborne the next week, stays on this surface and that surface for this amount of hours, then this amount of hours, and that amount of hours. Oh, now you have to wear masks in public. Oh, it's going to be illegal if you don't wear masks. Oh, but it's not illegal in this city because that's ridiculous. And mass incarceration is already an issue. Don't go arresting people for not wearing masks when you're sending out conflicting information every day. You got one task force that's saying one thing. You got medical professionals and experts that don't even want to come to the White House because you're saying stupid stuff and lying. And now you got a second task force. And now you're hiring WWE people to help you reopen up the economy. What the hell? And you want to come out with a 3-phase approach to reopen the economy that is tanking and trash right now? We had, what, 5.2 million more unemployment claims in the last week?
Let me make something abundantly clear. A few things to just address what you said. Everybody is saying everything because people want information, but people also don't want information because we live in a country that does not process information. People only read headlines. So you read the headline. I know that you only read the headline because I write headlines. And so you only read the headline, you regurgitate the headline, everybody repeats the headline, but the headline was only there for you to click on it.
Mm-hmm.
The article usually doesn't have anything to do with the headline anymore, it's time to rewrite the textbooks because when I study journalism, there's a lot of work that goes into headlines. That's a huge thing.
Right.
I think all of you, what you said about the science behind it, people are like, oh, y'all really think? And it's about time for me to get off Facebook permanently. I'll probably just be there for promoting like work that we do and businesses and shows. But my personal Facebook has got to go because I just really can't. And I understand that people don't think before they post. I understand that sometimes people's accurate thinking is what we see in the post.
Mm-hmm.
And then I understand that some people really don't understand. Some people didn't know that the president wasn't like a king.
So you said something in a meeting yesterday, and I really think that this is, I don't know, maybe something that we should implement. Maybe before, not that a lot of people are watching anymore, but maybe before each press conference or before each newscast, whatever, we just read pieces of the Constitution.
I'm going to probably start posting it.
And maybe on Unpacking Culture, we go through pieces of it and say, hey, here's what this means. Because it really is written in the, mumbo jumbo of the time that it was in.
But it's also very simple.
It's also very simple because
it's a very simple
very
document.
simple time when they were shooting muskets and not rifles. So they were just really trying to figure out how to run a country that was newly independent from British rule.
Because the truth is, we hold these truths to be self-evident, which is a line straight from the Constitution. It's literally it means it's the basis of our government. And some people don't even know that that's what the Constitution means. It's the basis, like everything that our government does. Like when people hear things, they're like, oh my God, when they start doing that? In 1776. Because that's the way that a lot of the ways that our government works was really to provide more freedoms and to do things completely opposite than the way that things are done in the UK, London, England. Like totally opposite. The foundation of this country was to be opposite of those people.
Except slavery. I mean, do we want to speak the truth or do we want to speak the truth?
So the Constitution in general was also not written for people that listen to or watch Unpacking Culture. That was my next line. So, on the same page here. So when it comes down to what can actually happen during this quarantine, like, guys, we're in unprecedented waters.
Right.
So everybody is just kind of taking it a day at a time. No one really knows. So you don't know anything absolute. The facts that you're getting are theories from very smart people. These are the people that probably needed to go to school, scientists and doctors. When you are getting your information from pages like Pop Star Love Hollywood Unlocked, POOP, that doesn't even spell pop. Star STARR, and you're reposting these articles and you're like, see, I knew it. It was the 5G.
What? You're joking, right? Are you exaggerating? Oh, y'all.
So people really, really feel this way, and they do things based on their feeling and their thought. We're in a political space where people could know that they are absolutely wrong, but they only share and repost information from people that they agree with.
Right.
Which makes everybody look crazy.
Right.
Now, I'm a very nonpartisan individual. A lot of things that I may share in regards to politics these days, people could easily say that they're left leaning. But if you know me, you know that I'm going to give you a roundabout. I'm going to look at it and say, this is solid information. It's not solid information. Some things that are considered left leaning are just facts. And not loose facts like Megyn Kelly saying that Santa Claus is white and kids that are watching, so is Jesus Christ. Not loose facts like that. These aren't alternative facts. These are just things that happen to be fact, things that are actually true. So there's that. Stimulus checks. A lot of people across the country are getting them. I saw a lot of hate in our community that needs to stop. For people who are like, see, y'all went to Tawanda, you got a huge refund, but you didn't get no stimulus. Well, a lot of people that went to H&R Block didn't get their stimulus either. So it wasn't Tawanda's fault. And y'all need to stop being like that. You really do need to stop being like that. And stop.
Period.
Just stop. And you didn't go to Tawanda, but you got your $1,200, but you got something to say faulty about somebody that didn't get it. Like, it's crazy. Come on, guys. Come on. We can do better than this. And I just think that this is the time that we should really be focusing on what we can do better and focused on unity, because this disease, this virus, is getting at us in a bad way. And I've said it on my show every day for the last 4 weeks that there's absolutely no reason that we go from, oh, black people can't get around it, black people can't get this, black people can't get this. And now it's taking us out left and right, young and old.
Yep. Higher numbers. We are higher risk for multiple reasons.
The ERA
but,
is not about equality.
I don't know if you can hear that or not, but mute that. Well, you gotta love when sites just pop up different things. But there are multiple reasons why we are at higher risk. The underlying issue is we are at higher risk, whether that be because we work high risk jobs because we have to, because of disparities.
Well,
and
the facts are 60% of Black Americans aren't covered. They don't have health care.
That's the next issue. Inaccess to healthcare and resources, underlying health conditions, partially because of inaccess to healthcare and resources. There are multiple reasons why we are at higher risk. The point of the matter is this virus and this disease are, and I don't think that we've gone over why we're distinguishing between those two terms, but we can if we need to. But it's not discriminatory based on who it impacts. It's not looking at you and saying, oh, you have melanin, you're good, go ahead, as you were. It's not doing that.
It's not looking at you and saying, oh, you got money.
Not It's not
What money is doing is getting you care earlier.
right. Getting you a test. That's it. And now I just got a push alert that if you don't have a local news app or anything on your phone, we've been saying this, please.
You're not going to get one because the shade room is good enough.
No, it's not. Get you a news app, at least a local one. I just saw that Georgia is in like the bottom of testing. There are multiple reasons for that. The problem is rapid tests are just now being kind of spread out. We talked about this in our first coronavirus show. The problem with rapid tests is if it's only looking for certain things, again, key, lock, both got to match. If you don't have that specific lock or groove that test is looking for, it'll come back negative and you may still have it. So let's go on to the next thing because I just feel like we pound that point.
Well, here's the thing. It's sad that Georgia's so low because only 1% of Americans have been tested.
And we have
358 million, allegedly.
Allegedly. So, and I was having a conversation with one of my friends who is a doctor. Well, she just got her doctorate. Hey, girl, you know who you are. I won't blast you out like that. But I was telling her about the analogy that I used of the key and the lock and all of that. She agreed. And then we were talking about how outrageously off the numbers are that we are counting. Cases and deaths. You have to really look at it. Some deaths are being tagged up against underlying health issues or complications from COVID, or they can't tag it correctly because they're having to move so quickly. Even in my short drive to my groomer today, I saw multiple tents outside of medical centers. So you have to really kind of look at what we're dealing with here and recognize that even the numbers we are seeing are way off.
They're much lower. A lot of states are choosing to reclassify. So with Tuesday, New York classified 4,000 more people that they hadn't classified before because of possible underlying conditions. Some were frustrated with that, and they're like, "Oh, you're padding the number," but no, this accelerated their death. That's the reason.
Right.
Period. That's the reason.
Right. I don't think that we can say this enough in every show that we do, y'all. This is serious. It is serious. I get a phone call or a text message or some other form of communication almost every day now of someone who knows someone that has died from this virus or disease. Please take it serious. Please keep your butts at home. Everyone's making sacrifices. Everyone is struggling with life in general, not just, dealing with the impacts of COVID and all of that. This is a problem. Take it seriously. I don't know how else we can say that.
6 weeks is a long time, guys, but for some of you, I really hate to break this. And most of you, for some of you, it's going to be not 6 weeks, it's going to be 16. It's going to be 36. And if they told you that, you would freak out. I'm telling you because I'm just going to keep it real with you.
Right.
Some of you, your states are going to let everybody go back to a free-for-all. Let's get back to the plan. So phase 1, which no states have done it yet. Many states, they say, may be eligible. They have to have had a steady decline of cases for the last 14 days. That's number 1 on phase 1.
Mm-hmm.
Schools remain closed. Non-essential workers continue to work from home. Restaurants, delivery only, takeout only. Restaurants and gyms, gyms still closed. Bars still closed. Phase 2, things begin to open. Oh, and you're still at and that's it. Phase 2, you start to open up a little bit more. 10 people. You can have a little dinner party or something like that. Restaurants and restaurants reopen, gyms open with social distancing enforced. Gyms remain closed. Gyms open, I'm sorry. Bars remain closed. Packed arenas, sporting events, things like that. Schools also reopen in phase 2.
I just
Don't know
don't.
how we got to there.
Yeah, I don't.
Phase 3, everything's open. And only people that are at risk try to stay away from people. Nobody's really quarantined. That's the general synopsis, the je ne sais quoi of those 3. Okay? The glaring problem that was not addressed by the remedial White House, which I don't understand, how there's a remedial leadership team. And the scientists, I really feel like, people are like, Fauci is a straight shooter. Dr. Deborah Birx, straight shooter. Fauci has 40 years of infectious disease experience behind him. He led America through the Ebola crisis. He's 79 years old. Tons of rich history. Born in Brooklyn. Tons of rich history. To let these assholes use you as a puppet and get you up here to agree to these 3 phases when you have been insistent and clear that there's no possible way. And they're still saying we can't even get to phase 1 unless suitable testing is there, which means we're
Right.
still at least a month out from
At
any state
least.
being there because we're still not there. At a minimum, all 50 states have at minimum at least 258 cases. I'm regurgitating this information like I'm in the trials and I study it all. But I listen to it all day. That's why I get frustrated with this 5G bullshit. And it's just crazy. These theories, they put the disease out here and they want to kill us all with a vaccine. That's crazy. The only real thing that you should be concerned about is that these Republicans are out here saying that it's fine that people die. It's the lesser of 2 evils is people dying with us having a great and booming American economy. On what planet?
He's not making that up, y'all.
That was Representative Hollingsworth, Trey Hollingsworth, that said it recently, Tuesday. 2 weeks ago, the lieutenant governor of Texas was like, well, I wouldn't mind dying and passing on as long as the economy's going to be good for my grands. The hell?
Verbatim.
Because I called my black grandmama and asked her if she would die for the economy. And she said, hell no. So that's really what you need to be concerned about. That's what you should be tuned into. You should be trying to figure out and trying to understand because these people will kill you. These people don't mind if they will kill you.
Will.
And y'all sitting out here talking about 5G and they like, let them die then. As long as the economy gets back up, they don't give a damn.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm getting off that. I'm going to leave it alone.
Are we ready to move on?
I can get passionate. I can go there and I'm going to leave it alone.
Are we ready to move on?
Yep.
Okay. Let's just go ahead and throw it all together. Kanye West. So Kanye West is saying that Kobe was the him of basketball. Did I get that correct?
He said that Kobe was the Kanye of basketball and he's the Kobe of music or hip hop or something.
Kobe Bryant was the basketball version of me. I was the rap version of him. I wanted to get the quote correct. So let's take away Kanye's antics, illness. Let's take that away.
So let's just take all of Kanye away. Okay. What's left?
His rap skills? Is there
Kanye is definitely a lyrical and a musical genius.
Okay.
Geniuses notoriously have tons of underlying issues, whether it's psychopath, sociopath, another path. they take really weird paths. I don't know.
I almost choked on my milkshake. So, do we agree with this statement?
No.
Okay. Do we not agree with this statement because there is no comparison? Like, why
I
would
don't
you
want to be morbid, and
that?
I don't want to be rude. I know this is live air. I'm going to
Oh,
say
God.
it because I'm going to say it, and I don't think it's too soon.
Oh, God.
If Kanye were to die suddenly, the world's not going up for him like they did for Kobe.
Oh, absolutely not.
He hasn't touched hearts, and that's the difference. That's what I'm saying. It's not about skill. It's not about talent. It's not about how great you think you are.
Right.
Kobe touched hearts.
Right.
Now you've changed lives. Probably. I'm sure you've touched some musicians. Hey, I'm not going to say Kanye hasn't touched any hearts. I'm sure he has, but nowhere near the hearts. Now I'm sure he would be really offended by that. He's very arrogant. He's a narcissist, and
Just
that
like
would be
the
offensive to him.
president.
I don't care.
I don't either. I'm actually done with that topic.
Let's go.
Clark's sister story. He brought me to your tribe.
I just want you to admit to the people.
Okay, y'all. So I must humbly ask for forgiveness. I have not yet watched the Clark sisters movie, and I know before you stone me, I am way overdue.
What were you doing when everybody was watching? Because everybody was watching.
I was having a chat with some girlfriends.
So they should all be judged too, because everybody was watching. White folks was watching. And a lot of it didn't even click for them because they get the culture, they like the culture, they like the culture, they don't get the culture, something like that. But white folks were watching, so I'm not gonna ask what y'all was talking about, but there are a lot of movies that are made, a lot of biopics that are made about groups and individuals. Now, this was really, it should have been named the Maddie Moss Clark story.
From the parts that I have seen, I agree.
Excellent.
I've heard a few things.
Just excellent.
Listen, I am actually literally going to go upstairs and watch it once we are done on the show.
You should, and you should text me the entire time. At the end of the day, what I'll say about it, we can talk about it on the next show. I stand with Denise.
Okay, I've heard a couple of people say that actually.
I didn't hear anybody say they stood with anybody else.
I haven't heard that either, actually.
Right, so everybody stood with Denise.
Yeah,
they did her wrong.
Heard. Between that and the throwing of the shoes. So here are the things that have been talked about in my circle, because even though I haven't seen it, I know bits and pieces of the story because I've been in the church all my life and I'm in seminary. So of course it's been talked about all week. So here are the things that I've heard in my circles. One, about the toxic patriarchy of the Black church. Two, a lot about Maddie Moss. Three, her throwing of the shoes, which I've seen bits and pieces of that. I'm not gonna lie, I laughed at one or two of those clips.
I knew about that though, way before the movie.
Way before the movie.
Most Black church people know that though, but
right. And people standing with Denise. One part that someone told me that was like their favorite part was this. I'm sorry, y'all, if y'all haven't seen it yet, like me.
No, you get the spoilers. It came out a week ago. It's over.
It is what it is.
Sorry. Not sorry. You get it.
Was when they were surprised with the award and going to the award ceremony and how Maddie Moss kind of slipped that in. But I have not heard a single person say that it was a bad movie. Not one. Just talking about the toxic patriarchal nature of the church, which again, we could do a whole other show on that. But I haven't heard a single bad thing. So if you're like me and you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. Join me tonight and watch it because I already have it up on my TV.
A lot of people just didn't expect them to go because the church doesn't have a reputation for being transparent. Though they want you to be transparent when you in the world and you a sinner, but then they get in the church and they just be lying.
Lying.
Sorry, I'll move on from that. This important Fox News is facing a lawsuit because they downplayed coronavirus. I think I want to sue them. I may look into that tomorrow. I got tons of time on my hands. Why not?
We ain't going nowhere.
I'll just say that I watch Fox News to get all of my news, and I was extremely disappointed at their coverage.
It was extremely.
And it's America. I could demand $5 million for my pain and suffering.
Well, and also they have to fire 2 contributors anyway for
2 hosts, anchors.
Yeah, for lying.
Fox Business.
So
no, they were doing what they were told to do. That's why I feel like it's actually messed up that they got fired because all they were doing was following Trump's playbook. They were regurgitating everything that he was saying. So the fact that they got fired, Trish Reagan and she was, whatever. But
yeah. Anyway,
this last piece of coronavirus news I want to say because I think it's stupid. Someone on my team was talking to me about it today. Listen, and I love, the cable news. I'm old, right? Oldish. I'm not old. I refuse to say that because I'm nowhere near old. Old people die. And older people they do. Sorry. That's what happens. You get old, you die. That's part of the process. Sanjay Gupta, great that you're on CNN, bro. I know you haven't worked as hard so we haven't seen your face so much since the Ebola virus. He's a little frustrated. All the reporting that he's been doing, that green screen is great because he's in his basement and that's where he's been for every segment. So I'm pretty sure he's probably not wearing pants, but who is these days on TV? Nobody.
No one.
But Dr. Oz, now listen, while you have great tips and old remedies and times, and sometimes, some people think you're a quack. And I know you've been sued a couple times for the things, and I don't think you're a quack, but I really want you to shut up. Dr. Oz said kids can go back to school despite the fact that 2 to 3% of the population would die if they did so. 2 to 3 people. What's wrong with these people? These people, what's wrong with them? That people can just die and they're fine with it.
Well, like you said, who was it? The governor, somebody? It's okay if people die if they just, for our economy to back up.
For the kids.
For the kids. The grands.
These dumbass kids, first of all. I don't even really want to go there, but I did a great interview with the teacher today. Check it out. Find the Unmuted Nation podcast. You should subscribe to that as well. The kids are already dumb, guys. So the fact that they are not, and I know you young parents, you're my age, you're like, my kids ain't dumb. They are. And and my brother was heartbroken. I talked to my brother just moments before we started this show today. And he's like, well, something, how is this? I said, America is number 17th in the world. And I think we've dropped lower than that in education. He was like, what? Yeah, we all believe American propaganda that America is great and it's always been great and make it great again. And we do this and we do that. No, we're number 17.
No, 27th.
I thought it was that low because it was 17 when I was reporting in Atlanta. I just wanted to keep quoting that number but I thought I saw 27. I knew that. I knew it. Dumb.
27th in healthcare and education. I don't remember who we were talking to, but someone said
that needs to be a meme.
The U.S. is, how was it phrased? A third world country in a Gucci belt.
There were countless countries. And when I tell people this, they're like, what are you talking about? I work in the news. I know what the hell I'm talking about. There were countless countries that issued travel advisories for countries that don't care about their citizens, like America. It said literally the United States. Countries that don't care about their citizens.
It literally did say that. Literally. Y'all, don't let this prideful government fool y'all. We're not really doing that great. Are we better off than some countries? Yes, absolutely. In some areas, some classes, some people, some races. That's a lot of sums. That's a lot of categories. That's a lot of divisions. And overall, as a country, we're not doing so hot. So when I say I have a wish list of things that we really need to get in check, I mean it. Healthcare disparities, education in this country is so inequitable and trash. It's
Number 27 in healthcare. Number 27 in education.
yeah.
Your tax dollars at work. Make America great again. There is a story I wanted to mention. I don't know if you saw it about Candace Owens, and that's a curse word, but
Must we?
um,
Jesus. What about her?
I saw a photo of her marriage photo circulating today.
Her what?
But she went on a rant about a police officer accosting her and stopping her in a Whole Foods for not having on a mask. And she went on the rant, and then she stopped it because remember, she's a conservative. And conservatives support the police. So as she was going in on the police officer that stopped her, she stopped herself and was like, I'm not talking about the police officer because she seemed like she didn't want to have to, she didn't agree with the policy either. But 65 people have died in DC. What are we doing? So her and her new husband continued around Whole Foods without the mask after they were told, to put on the mask, then people started complaining that they were walking around specifically. I'm pretty sure they were complaining that they saw you. That her and her boyfriend didn't have on a mask. And she was really frustrated.
She's in the same book with Stacey Dash to me.
Oh no, she's way, way lower than that.
Same
She
book.
justified Hitler. And so
Same book. Chapters apart. Same book.
There's no justification for Adolf Hitler.
None.
There's no justification for Donald Trump.
In any logical mind, no, there's not. But here we are. Anyway, are you done talking about her? Because I can't.
I'm done. I moved on. I'm actually
fantastic. Insecure. It's back. Did you watch it?
I did.
So
I have qualms. I get that y'all were looking for some continuity, but let it go. It's been 2 years, girl. You ain't had this block party yet? Oh, I was hot.
What? Listen, between that and, girl, why is you still pregnant? I literally was sitting there like, and somebody really was trying to like, well, I think that it hasn't really been that long. I think maybe it's been a month because Condola and Lawrence have only, they said it has only been a few weeks. And I said,
Issa D is trash. And there's lots of debate on whether or not Molly or Issa is more. And it's crazy that the debate has gone to Molly and Issa when for years it was Issa and Lawrence.
Right.
Issa D is trash. Like, she's a pure trash human. Like, just, I think that, like, literally, and I felt it a lot. It wasn't a popular place to be in the first season. People were like, I get her. I want to be Issa's friend. I love her character. She stresses that it's just a character. And that's fine, because I respect that. I would hope that she's nothing like the character in real life. That would be terrible. But I don't even, because I can separate art and people, I know that it's probably not. She just plays that trash ass character really well, but she plays it really well. And she's a bum. Like, any man that was acting like Issa would be classified pure D bum. You are a bum. Bum ass nigga. That's what you would be classified if a man was as trash as Issa is. Then Molly.
Oh, Molly, girl. Girl.
She can't get out of her own way.
Right.
And I'm going to say something you probably haven't heard me say in like 10 years. This is the type that Molly is the type of person that's lonely forever.
Yes.
And blames everybody for every failure, but every relationship that ended, it was her fault, actually.
So I had an insecure debrief call on Monday. Those exist, y'all. We literally went down the line of Molly's failed situations and relationships. Each one of them, from that tall, light-skinned dude who was married to, I'm sorry, was it before him that she was sleeping with the guy who got head from a man and she got rid of him because of that?
Yeah, because he came back into the picture.
He came back
and
into
she
the picture.
Was wrong again.
Again. What?
You should just give up on life.
Yeah, I have heard a few people say they are actually horrible friends.
Honestly, what I wanted out of this episode, and I'm gonna tell you this, what I wanted out of the episode was a Kelly spinoff.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, and yes.
Kelly's who I want to watch.
Yes.
That's the content. Like, that's why I'm here.
I literally, when I did my little episode 1 synopsis on Facebook, the very first line was, I love Kelly. I still love Kelly. Why Sis doesn't have a full storyline? They started it a little bit in the previous season and then just...
They took us into her office for a little while.
Right.
Gave us a little bit, but no.
I still love Kelly.
Yeah, Issa, I don't understand. And
I really don't get this whole Condola Lawrence situation.
What don't you get?
Why?
Why he's interested in Condola?
No. Why? So someone asked me, if you were in Condola's situation, would you choose the business or the booty? And I said, I'd probably choose the business. I can get booty anywhere. And we all kind of went back and forth, like, was she?
So I think that's a situational question, because I'm opposite in that. In her situation, I would probably choose booty because A, she's thriving in what she does and Issa ain't. So this is not a viable business. Issa's not a viable person to start business with. She doesn't finish things. She's sloppy.
No one doesn't know that.
Until this season, she lived a little slobbish.
A little.
So yeah, no, Condola, I think absolutely, I would be the total opposite of that.
But it seems like she's veering to doing both. And we all know Issa and Lawrence are messy. They're just messy. I don't get in the middle of that. That's a mess.
Well, she doesn't know. She didn't even know what it was.
Right. So did she go back and sleep with him to figure out what it is? Like somebody asked, did she go back and sleep with Lawrence to figure out if the booty was worth it?
Possibly. Am I staying or not?
Am I staying or not? I don't know. We'll see how that plays out.
Issa can't hold her at night. And if she could, I don't think Condola would want that.
Well,
Issa is the type of person if I worked at a social dating service like a Tinder or a Bumble, and I happen to, like, if I was a developer or a manager or a director, and I happen to know Issa because she was my friend and she told me she was on it, I would keep suspending her account without telling her what was happening. I'm like, I just work there. I don't know what's happening, because she's a trash ass person. I don't think anybody should be subjected to swiping right and hooking up with that character, because it's terrible. It's disgusting.
Well, then when she was banging the TSA person, I was like, girl, what are you doing?
She's sad. Like, I don't know if you watch Good Girls, but
I do.
the youngest sister on Good Girls, she's also a very sad human. She lays down with people experiencing homelessness. She's terrible.
Oh,
how do you not know that? You banged him in the Quickie Mart?
Right. Girl, what? That's another good show, y'all. Y'all should watch Good Girls. Yeah, I really just, and y'all stop asking Issa for an hour show. Comedies aren't an hour. Like, just
guys, you're basically getting the hour.
You're basically getting the hour. Cut it out.
It'd be like 33 minutes.
Right.
The average your Law and Order show is 42. Pack in the commercials. It's 10 more minutes, y'all. Really. You don't want an hour-long HBO show. I promise you would be asleep because it would be no commercials. And then you would feel like they were dragging things out. Now, an hour-long show with people more interesting, maybe.
Maybe.
An hour long, if we had developed these characters and a little, like, I give Insecure probably, I know that they tape both this season and the next season. I believe that there may be one after that, and then this show is going to run its course.
Especially if I don't get more Kelly. And I'm going to just go ahead and put this out there too. I don't think that Tiffany's husband is her baby daddy.
That would be an interesting spin because as of now, she's not that interesting. And all I see is Amanda Seales.
Agreed.
And I'm low-key annoyed by that, but.
So I'm going to tell you why I don't think that her husband is her baby daddy. Back, I think it was 2 seasons ago, at the end of the season, Kelly, Molly, and Issa were all together. And Tiffany was not present, but Tiffany's husband was looking for her and asked, I think it was Issa. He either texted Issa or Molly and asked if Tiffany was with them, and she wasn't. And then all of a sudden, Tiffany was pregnant in the next season. But we never figured out where Tiffany was. So I think this baby is going to come out and not be her husband's baby. That's the only interesting thing about her. Otherwise, she's just messy and annoying. You know, kind of like real life.
And that's going to do it for us.
Any other honorable mentions?
No.
Okay, well. Y'all
stay home.
Stay home. If you don't need groceries, actually, that's about it. And even
up here, you can't get them delivered, so you gotta go. But
yeah. So if you're somewhere like that, go get your groceries.
I'm gonna go in the morning. I guess this is not an honorable mention, but a bold plug, not a shameless one. Okay. You want to tune into Unmuted Nation tomorrow. We are talking sex work, OnlyFans, and quarantine. And so we're going there with the conversation. We're going there whether people are pulling out right and left. We are allowing those joining the I don't know if we're going to convene the cabinet or not, because they may not have no draws on, and I don't know if I want to do that. But we are allowing them to remain anonymous. And so you want to catch that tomorrow, 1 p.m. Boss FM Talk will be there.
4 P Square. So I don't have anything else. If you have not watched the Clark Sisters movie, do what I'm about to do. Go watch it. If you have not seen Insecure, sorry for the spoilers. But definitely check that out. And
we'll spoil it every week, so do better.
We will spoil it every week, just so you know. And if you have any other favorite shows that you want us to talk about, chances are one of us probably watches them too. Send us a link. Tweet us. put it on the Facebook page or something. And then maybe we'll talk about that too. So I don't have anything else. Make sure that you catch all of our previous episodes on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, anywhere you can listen to a podcast.
They'll be there sometime this weekend. No, there's plenty that you can catch up on, but
I'm done. You can also catch them on our Facebook page. You can also, well, they'll be there shortly too. Anyway, Alex, how do they get in touch with you?
I'm Alex Unmuted everywhere. You saw it was on the Chiron. Yours was there too. I just took them off. So y'all know. You know.
Y'all know. Hit us up. Follow us, chat us, Lanelle on everything, including .com. And we will see you when we see you. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for joining. Y'all be blessed.
Be blessed. There's a song about